We exploded. We got a lot of work in, and without really stopping and thinking about it or putting a structure in place, we just tried to do it all at the same time, and it just became an uncontrolled monster. We were just throwing buckets of water at fires, and it was just absolute chaos, and said, not worth it, not worth the extra money.
This episode is brought to you by Forte, specialist in refined timber surfaces for inside and out. From elegant flooring and paneling to durable cladding and decking, Forte delivers unparalleled performance where it matters most. Their products are crafted to elevate every space, combining natural beauty with technical precision and enduring design with innovation. Discover more at forte.co.nz. Marlon, thanks for coming on the podcast.
No problem.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I feel like we've had a podcast already.
Yeah.
Pre-podcast. So no, I appreciate you driving all the way from Waihi Beach. What was you came in yesterday, and stayed
Came
the
in
night?
last night, stayed in a hotel.
How long did it take you to drive here?
2.5 hours. Southern motorway was shut for a bit, so that was
All right.
awesome.
Yeah.
But
Well, I appreciate you making the big drive.
no problem. Good to be here.
Coming in, you got to stay at the hotel here.
Yeah.
Brought your wife here,
Yes.
so made a whole thing out of it. So that's good. It's good that you guys I forced you to take some time away, you know?
Yeah, we made a night of it. It was good.
Oh, good stuff. Okay, well, tell me a little bit about you first because I want to talk about your business, Reside. I want to talk about, obviously you have a couple of partners. I'm very interested to have a conversation around how that works.
Mm-hmm.
So where did you grow up and tell me who was Marlon as a young bloke?
Young Marlon. I was born in Sydney in 1977 my father was a Greek Cypriot immigrant living in Sydney, working on the roads. My mum was working in the burger caravan by the road workers. That's how they met. And I was the firstborn, 2 younger daughters. Lived there till I was 4, and then they separated. And then we moved back to New Zealand. We moved back to Tauranga and stayed on my grandmother's farm, my mum's farm, for a few months or a year, I can't really remember. Bounced around a few different suburbs. And then I went to Otamotai College and then left school pretty early. School wasn't really for me. And I did a pre-trade course at Polytech for building, which is where I met one of my business partners, Nico, and then did my apprenticeship for a guy in Mount Maunganui, a guy called Miles Everton Builders, who was a legend of his time, and very grateful that I got the opportunity to work for him. He was a bit of a madman as well, which I aligned myself with a bit. Built some cool homes, built some very high-end architectural homes of the era, mid to late 90s. And once I got qualified, Jane had done her university BA up here in Auckland, and we just sort of worked for a year or so, and then we shot off to London in 1999. So that was my sort of quick overview of how.
So just to roll back a little bit. So where did you meet Jade?
School.
Oh, at school?
Yeah.
Oh,
Cute, eh?
That's very cute. High school.
Can we cut that?
High school love.
Yeah.
Young love.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're at school. You family separated when you're 4.
Yeah.
Okay. My parents got divorced when I was 4, so I kind of understand that. So then, was your dad still in Sydney and you were in New Zealand?
He stayed in Sydney. Yeah. Mum did a bit of a quick evacuation. He went to work and got home, and the house was empty, and we were gone. So sure that caused a bit of chaos. But as a 4-year-old, I didn't really pick up on too much of that.
Yeah. Okay. And then you were spending a bit of time with grandma, and then so what was that like? Did your dad have a relationship now, or since, or not really?
Him and I?
Yeah.
There's been a few little interactions over the years. Yep. He's gone on to have several more marriages and relationships. So no, he'd probably be a good mate if he wasn't my dad. He's one of those sort of characters.
Yeah.
So no, I can't speak too highly of him in the parenting scene, but sure he's had a great life, and he's a good man with a very colourful life.
Yeah. So he didn't really quite know how to do the parenting thing. It wasn't really.
Wasn't for him.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. How old is he now?
Must be 70, I'd say.
Right. So he's like a boomer?
Definitely a boomer, but a Cypriot
Yeah.
boomer. My mum's more of a traditional boomer.
Yeah.
Pakeha, New Zealand boomer.
Yeah.
Yeah, loves her Winston Peters.
Yeah. Boomers. We have a lot of conversations about boomers. Boomers are very interesting. It's a very interesting generation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like very, very fun generation. Very, they have their limitations, you know.
Unique.
Very unique. My dad's also a boomer. It's funny because my dad's the same, like, you know, didn't really get sort of like the parenting thing really down, you know. But like he's fun to hang out with and we have beers and it's all good. But like they just sort of, you know, he's told me several times that he should never have had children. I'm like, okay, thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think you're supposed to tell me that. I think you're supposed to keep that to yourself.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the classic
least he's
boomer, right?
honest.
Yeah, it's a classic boomer, you know. They'll tell you that as well, you know. Okay, so Dad wasn't really around, moved here with Mum, and then in terms of like the meeting your now wife, but back then just girlfriend, was that like a I like a bit of bro psychology, you know what I mean? But like, was that a bit of like security in terms of like, you know, sometimes when your family's a bit broken up, you kind of were looking for family elsewhere, and then sometimes you
Yes,
find it.
definitely. I would say that that's a strong part of it. But yeah, I'm not much of a go back and look and reassess and try and work it all out. But yeah,
Yeah,
Jane at the time was definitely a bit of security, bit of normality. Great person, love her dearly, and that's been through many sort of evolving times over the years. But
Yeah.
no, we're still
and
as
so,
in love and together as we were. Maybe we should cut this. Going down an
No.
emotional journey.
We're definitely not cutting that. We make sure she listens in on that.
Ugh.
So who were you back then when you were like in high school, like just before you kind of thought about getting into the trades? Like or how would your friends have described Marlon back then?
How would they have described Marlon? Probably a bit of a character. Very social. I like to get out there and have a good time. I was big into rowing at school and loved that sport and all the crazy training and all the effort that goes into it. That probably distracted me from school and how much I hated school itself and teachers, boomer teachers, and you know, it was just a different institution at the time, and it wasn't for me. So yeah, sport was really a big thing for me, in particular rowing, and then whatever I could do to get out of school and get out there. I always had a job. I was always earning my own money, so I mean, I didn't have heaps, but at least I could sort of hold my own with social stuff. So yeah, I'd say I was
Yeah.
always out.
That's good, eh? Yeah, like rowing is an interesting sport, eh? Because it's just like how much pain can you take is essentially just rowing.
Pain and misery, yeah, like being a golfer or owning your own business. It was a good start.
Yeah. Rowing is a good foundation, yeah, for
Yeah.
like, you know, running a business, you know, how much can you take
Yeah,
before you give up?
A lot of effort for a short amount of fun.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you look like very extroverted, very social, probably like made jokes at the wrong time in class.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so you kind of didn't fit. There's like a mold of like sit still and listen, and you kind of, it was hard to fit within that mold, right?
Yeah,
Looks
yeah.
like.
It's probably got some medical name, but
Yeah.
we'll call it
Some
ADHD.
disorder that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that, eh? When people always go like, what, ADHD, and it's like a something disorder. It's like, okay, so if you can like sit still for 8 hours, you're normal. But if you can't sit still for 8 hours, then you have some sort of disorder. Like I don't really see how that's like a disorder, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if I like something, I'll focus on it and I'll really
Yeah.
get into it. So, yeah, as soon as I was out working and doing my pre-trade and doing my apprenticeship, I knew that I'd found the thing that was my distraction. So I was happy with that.
Yeah.
Settled instantly.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of builders are like that, eh? It's like all of a sudden they go from being like the problem kid to like quote unquote normal all of a sudden when you put them in something that they're interested in.
Weirdly normal.
Yeah. It's just it's crazy how that's the case. Okay, so you kind of then thought about building, but why did you think about building or the trades, or why did you not go into something else?
I'm not mechanically minded. I couldn't weld, or I have no interest in any of that stuff. And I've got friends who are amazing in that field, and I just knew that wasn't for me. Definitely wasn't sort of keen on farming or working in a bar or any of those sort of other jobs that people love. And I was never going to be an architect or a designer or an accountant or anything sort of in that field. So I was just always attracted to building, really. I love houses. I'd always walk around someone's house and have a good look around when I was young. And it's always just sort of fascinated me that you could take bare land and build a house and people could live in it, and they could live in it forever or sell it or move on. I just found the house, the home, and the way that they can be built so differently fascinating.
And what was that like that first day when you like walked onto like a building site? You know, were you an apprentice or were you just like pre-apprentice stage?
Well, I'd done 2/3 of my pre-trade course, so I wasn't an apprentice. First day that I worked for Miles, I guess we got offered places or opportunities through the Polytech course, and I ended up with Miles. I might have approached him, I can't remember, or whether he put his name down at the class, or I got nominated by the tutor.
Do you remember what that first day was like when you walk on?
First day was intimidating, daunting, a site on, I think it was on Pilot Bay in Mount Maunganui. They were building three-story brand new homes, and there was just people everywhere, and it was chaos. And I just sort of rolled up and had to introduce myself. The person I introduced myself didn't know what was going on in terms of me being there and who to send me to. And there's probably all 3 houses were being built by 3 separate builders. And I guess I ended up walking to the last house, and the guy said, well, if you've ended up on my job, you can work with me for the day, and I'll ring Miles later. And no cell phones, and Miles didn't come to the job for the day. And I just managed to fit in a couple of days. He came and saw me and said, oh, what are you doing here? Moved to that job. And it was kind of, it was good fun, but chaos, and that was just how it was.
That's so funny. And what was Miles's company like? What was the structure? Was it a big team, small team? Were there other apprentices?
Big team. He was, there was maybe 5 or 6 really big residential architectural builders, mid to late 90s around Mount Maunganui, but Miles would definitely be one of the main players. And we built some really awesome houses, some that are still standing, some of them being pulled down for other reasons, and developments and redevelopments and things like that. So, it was a big company. He was pretty early on in the master builders. He was ahead of his time, I'd say. Very progressive thinker, intellectual. He'll probably kick me for saying that. I'll catch up with him. And he had a lot of swagger. That's what I really enjoyed about working with Miles. It was the chat, all the right chat, and you either liked him or you hated him, and he liked you more if you hated him, and he'd lean into that, and there was always lots of banter and fun. I admired that about him.
And you fitted in within that vibe.
I did.
You kind of like
I adapted.
Yeah. What is that about you? Like, what is that? Because is it something you just want, like a little bit of like, just bring a bit of color into the day? Like, don't be so boring. Like, what is it about your personality that likes that?
I don't really know. It just comes out of me. I much prefer to be right in there, having a good time, having a laugh, being part of the conversations.
Yeah.
Rather than waiting for someone to, bring me up to speed or whatever. It's just always what I've been like.
Yeah. Are you like more, are you kind of more of a guy that likes the edges of things, or like you're more in the middle?
Middle.
Yeah. Right in there.
Like we said earlier, if it's a forced marketing event, or we're trying to, get ourselves into situations where we're not comfortable, then I'm definitely on the edges.
Yeah. No, I get it. Okay. So you work for Miles. So how long? So did you get qualified with that company?
Qualified under Miles, yeah.
What was the name of that company again?
Everton Builders.
Okay. Shout out. Are they still around, or?
Miles is still around.
Right.
The company is sort of Probably shelved the company, but he's still around doing a few bits and pieces, yeah.
Awesome. And then...
Still been a pain in the ass.
Well, shout out to Miles anyway.
Yeah, good on you, Miles.
So then you got qualified with him. How long did you stay until you moved on? Did you stay for a while?
It was about a year. He had a offshoot company with his wife, Nikki, at the time called Everton Homes, and I went off with my, I guess, foreman, a guy called Benza. Built a couple of houses, one of which was Jane's parents under that brand. So they're still there now, which is good. It hasn't fallen over. So yeah, it was about a year. And then Jane at the time was working for the local, she'd come back from Auckland after a degree and working up here for a bit. And she was working for a local company called Bay Building Certifiers, which was they did all the inspections and processing of planning and consents and things like that. They sat outside the council at the time, so she worked there, which was all consuming. We, did a lot of building chat for a young couple. And then we moved to London. That was always on the cards, and we'd already had a few people move there, friends, and a couple of guys that we'd worked with at Everton Builders were there. So yeah, London was just the next thing to do, and it had to be done.
And was it just like you and Jane wanted you just like see a bit of the world and have a different experience? Like what drew you specifically to London?
Yeah, it wasn't that we wanted to leave, it was that we wanted to go. So I don't know what it was. Yeah, travel, see the world, be independent. I mean, we could have moved back to Auckland or Wellington or Aussie or whatever, but it was just London. And at the time, we knew that if you moved to London and you got a half-decent job and you didn't pay too much, you could have a lot of excess income, save money quickly and travel. And in the first couple of years, we probably worked a month, travelled 2 weeks, worked 3 months, travelled for a month, and we were just, hopping around Europe and had an awesome time. And then we had the 99 Rugby World Cup, so we sort of went to every game every game till we got kicked out. And just had a lot of awesome experiences for young people.
Yeah, was that when they played France in the quarters?
I don't need to talk about that though.
It was the grey jerseys.
Yeah, that's.
Let's not bring that up. I am a Springbok supporter. Because I'm from there. Yeah, it's hard to if I told you to just stop supporting the All Blacks, you probably wouldn't be able to do it even if you tried, right?
Oh, there's been times where I wanted to. And a few World Cups.
99.
More to do with the coaches, not the players.
Yeah. It's sort of ingrained in you. It's kind of.
It is.
I remember when we moved to New Zealand, my dad, all of a sudden he's like supporting the All Blacks now. He just decided,
Okay, yeah.
And like a logical, I'm going to support the All Blacks now. I live in New Zealand stuff. And then, but you can always tell because you watch the game and then like South Africa would like pass the ball and then like they would almost go to score and the South African guy would drop the ball and my dad would be like, oh, and I'd be like, it sounds to me like not supporting the All Blacks, right? So you can tell, you just watch someone's behaviour as they watch the game.
Where the heart still is.
Yeah,
that's okay.
So you can't move away from the heart, right?
You can't.
So
I supported the English football team.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they I just couldn't quite. I went to a few England rugby games with people that I work for and friends and stuff like that. So, I've been to games that don't have the All Blacks involved, and in those games I was probably going for England.
Yeah.
But also came for the game to finish and go to the pub and not have to watch that anymore.
It's hard. I don't know. It's hard to support England, but, if you're there, I guess
they're
it's
good. They're a
easier.
good team.
Yeah.
Good fellowship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my cousin played for Saracens there. So he's from South Africa, played for the Springboks a little bit, but he played for Saracens for like 10 years. So they may have crossed over when you were there, actually, because he was there for, I think he put like maybe 5 years ago or something like that. But anyway, okay, so you're over there. What was the best part of Europe? Like, what was the best country to visit in Europe?
Oh, best country. Man, they're all good. France. Loved France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's cool about that? Just like the wine.
Oh, the wine, the weather, the people. It's easy to get around. It's
you and Jane holding hands under the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, got a few of those photos. I can show you them later. I just like the south of France, really. That's a simple way of life and a good way of life.
Just slower.
I could live there
forever. People always say south of France. I've never been there, but it seems like that's the spot.
Yeah,
You
they've
know,
just got a good life, good weather, simple.
bottle of wine, baguette.
Yeah,
What more do you want?
got the coast, mountains, lakes. Yeah, it's got it all.
Yeah. Okay. And so you didn't just stay there for 2 years, right? How long did you guys stay in
Oh,
the
we
UK?
initially did. That was just the plan. But I had a working visa, so I could only actually stay for 2 years. So Jane was brave enough to suggest we get married, and I was brave enough to agree. So came back to New Zealand at some point, got married, travelled a bit, went back to the UK, really got into our work then, sort of changed it up a bit from the 2 year work and travel, don't take it too seriously in a good way, to, okay, let's sort of move out of shared flats, and we're a young married couple now rather than living with 8 or 10 people. Let's live with, we never did the live with 30 people sort of thing. So yeah, we kind of started moving into our own places and growing up a little bit, and I started my own carpentry labor only sort of company. Had a few guys working for me, and I was working for one guy called Will Bird, who was a property developer builder in the south of London. So he allowed me to take over the labor only carpentry stuff. He still ran the company and was the overall sort of project manager of everything. And then I started to take over more and more, and ended up just sort of being his main guy, builder, subbed in everyone. And at that point, I sort of made a decision to partner up with a guy called Jed, who was the bricklayer builder, and we teamed up and sort of did the majority of Will's work, and then started doing our own stuff. So Jed's 20 years older than me and a bricklayer, and we could sort of offer him the carpentry side. The bricklayers in the UK are the main builder. They start the job and get the sort of bones of the house built, and then a carpenter
Right.
will come in and put the windows and the floors. So it's slightly different to here.
Yeah.
And then we just had a great relationship, great business with Jed for probably 15 years.
Amazing.
It was awesome, yeah.
And how were you able to stay there? So did you?
Sorry, yeah, back to that. Jane's parents are from Liverpool.
Okay, so through that marriage.
Yeah,
And, yeah.
and they moved out with Jane's 2 older sisters in the, I'm going to say mid-70s, I don't know. And Jane and her younger sister were born in Tauranga. So it's 4 of them, 4 girls. Jane's got a British passport. She could offer
Cool.
me that through marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you just used her to stay there,
used her.
essentially.
yeah. But I've paid her back
Yeah.
with torture and misery.
Okay, cool. So you ran a business here. So what type of projects did you guys work on? Obviously,
Similar stuff to, I guess, London's version of what we were doing here, or
Yep.
what we are doing here. So high-end residential architectural work. Mainly London is renovations,
all
alterations
heritage
and
and-
additions. Yeah,
Yeah.
heritage stuff, old houses. We started sort of, we'd do a basement underneath, out the back, big extensions out the back, full house renovations, and you can convert the roof space, which they call the loft, into a living area as well. So
Yeah.
some of our jobs were sort of small landscaping type jobs, anywhere up to 2 to 3 year, multi-million pound mega jobs. So yeah, I found that great, just the logistics working over there with no parking and small side alleys, or you have to go down, through, under and out to get to the back, and
Yeah.
shutting roads for cranes, and the way that you just got to operate over there. It's just awesome.
Yeah. It's everyone's kind of has their own skill set, right? And sometimes some things feel like play to some and work to others. And
Yeah.
we're all kind of good at things and bad at things we're bad at. Just takes forever and it's so hard, and things we're good at, it's just easy, it just flows.
Yeah.
What were you kind of good at that time? Like what were the elements that you kind of brought what did you bring to the table at that time in terms of what you were good at?
I guess I just loved what I was good at is the logistics, putting it all together, making sure it was all going to turn up and be done on time. That's my thing, and I guess that's what I focus on now, although I'm handing it off a little bit. So yeah, I put my trust in the people who work for me. I trust them. I don't need to check in and make sure they're doing it and, overcheck and frustrate them. So definitely learnt to be hands off, and yeah, like I say, if I trust them, then they're good, and I'll just go and do my part of it, which is to make sure it all just happens on time.
Yeah. So it's
Logistics.
kind of like logistic project management.
Project management,
like hitting
yeah.
the phones. Hey mate,
Yep.
we're going to be there. Like you kind of
Yeah,
that
the
guy,
phone.
extroverted on the phone. Mate, going to need you here 3 o'clock. Da da
Yep.
da. And you like that. You enjoy
I'm
that.
like that, yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
get up for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about your business partner, the bricklayer guy? What was he good at?
Jed, he was good at. He had again another sort of like Miles. He's a lot of charisma, big character. So we were a great team at, I guess, selling ourselves to the client, getting the work in, and then Jane and I would sort of process quotes and business administration and invoicing and all that type of thing. That was not Jed's bag. So he would be out there just making sure that guys were turning up on time. The materials were put in the right place, because, again, that's another, I guess, on-site logistical thing.
Yeah.
He was like our construction manager, I guess you could say.
So he was on
He
site.
was the hire and fire as well.
Okay.
I mean, I would hire people and he would fire them. That would be, so, yeah.
Yes, everyone has their strength, you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
It was a guillotine.
Yeah, okay. So he was very much on site. You were doing a lot of the project management, some business admin, and then Jane was doing a lot of that business administration work.
Yeah.
Making sure that people get paid,
Yep.
bookkeeping and all
Absolutely,
that sort of stuff.
yeah.
Okay, so what's the difference between running a construction business in London versus running one in Tauranga, New Zealand?
I would say due to the higher level of, I guess, qualification, administration, and what would you call it? The sort of the amount of council involvement, engineers, architects. It's a
Red
very
tape and
high
bureaucracy.
level of red tape and bureaucracy in New Zealand. Whereas London, all you had to do was do a good job, and especially maybe with being Kiwi, knowing that we're sort of trained well and that we put a high level of work ethic and quality into our work, that over in London you didn't really have so much bureaucracy. I mean, you definitely had to get your consent and building inspections and get your code of compliances, but you pretty much were just left alone to do a good job, and those buildings hold themselves up with the right level of work ethic and skill. Whereas here, I guess the bureaucracy tries to kill the job before it starts. So everyone's trying their best, but it goes into the big machine early on: council, engineers, architects, insurance, all the sort of red tape. So I guess for me, that takes a lot more time here than it did in the UK. Not necessarily in a bad way, it just is what it is. But
so there's less friction there. You can just sort of just
less friction.
Yeah.
A lot more happiness when you start a job.
Yeah.
Not like you've been through, almost feeling like you've been through a bitter divorce
Before you
like
even
it can do here when you finally get your consent.
Yeah.
Everyone's just washed out and broken.
Yeah, the pre-construction phase here of a project is just like
It's painful.
It's painful, and it probably takes a lot of the fun out of it for the client.
Fun and finance.
Yeah. I've heard through some builders that's worked over in the UK, they mentioned that a lot of it's not really like council driven, it's more like architects. So like the architect will come on site regularly and just check things off.
Yeah, it's all overseen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the council's role is just to make sure you're doing it right. They don't necessarily, the inspections aren't pass or fail. They're sort of more of a touch in and just check that it's all looking good and you are going to do what you say you're going to do. And but that, I guess, was great because we built up a good reputation. They still came and checked on us, but we didn't have too many sort of issues.
Yeah.
Just
cool.
We did good work.
Okay. So you obviously then stayed there a long time, 15 years or whatever, or a
20
bit
years.
more, 20 years. And then you guys decided to move back to New Zealand.
Yeah, we did.
What was the reasoning wanting to move back? Is it just homesick? Or?
We had our 3 kids who were, this is back, we started maybe thinking about this 2014 maybe. We'd had our 3 kids. We'd just had our 3rd daughter, Polly. And our oldest, Leo, was in the school system. Ella, our middle girl, was starting to get into the school system over there. It's a rat race, and there's different types and levels of education, and it just became a bit of a headache. Brexit was starting to happen, which became, as I was saying earlier, a bit of more of a race war, and within where we were in our industry, a lot of European immigrants working for builders and in the cafes and everywhere, and Brexit was mainly about European governmental stuff and whether the UK was going to leave or not, but it became quite a toxic situation for the people on the ground, and we weren't enjoying that. Our staff were starting to really not get on with each other. We were having to deal with quite a lot of emotional fallout and racism at work and things like that. So that wasn't filling our cup, as well as maybe one eye on New Zealand, no fences around the schools, just a good lifestyle. So also Jed, my business partner, went on holiday and was using a hotel gym equipment, and it broke, and he ruptured his spleen and spent 3 months in intensive care over in Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean. So he never really came back to work after that. He's fine now. It was probably just an 18-month sort of healing process for him. So that all happened at the same time. Sold our house pretty quickly, got good money for it, rented a house around the corner, sold our business to one of our main guys, a guy called Matt, which Jed and I were both really happy about. You don't get the chance to sell a residential building business too often, so we took it. And Jane and I basically sort of did nothing for a year, and we did lots of stuff, but we didn't work, and went to the 2015 Rugby World Cup in London, which we won. So that was a good one to finally get across the line as a spectator. And then travelled back to New Zealand with the family through Sri Lanka. Had a week in Dubai with Jed and his wife Lynn to sort of say goodbye and thanks for 15 great years of fun and hilarity and stress and grind. So Sri Lanka, Aussie, back to Waihi Beach, moved into Jane's sister and her husband's batch that would give us 6 months, and then we're still there.
What was Sri Lanka like, just quickly? Like, is that Sri Lanka? Awesome. I've heard that it's kind of like parts of Sri Lanka is almost like what like Bali and Indonesia and stuff used to be like, 15 years ago. There's a lot of beautiful beaches and like kind of
beautiful beaches, beautiful people. Yeah, we went in 2003 with 3 other couples, 2 or 3 other couples, for southern India and Sri Lanka as young backpackers for 2 months, I think it was, and that was pre the tsunami. So it was interesting to go back after and see what it was like. But back then we were young and carefree, and it was cheap and awesome.
Yeah, what's
so
it like now?
Probably a lot more. What it's like now is you would never know that the tsunami went through there, but having been there prior, definitely looks different. The beaches and the way that there must have been a hell of a lot of devastation and been horrible for those people. But now it's just probably a little bit more commercialised, a bit more touristy, a lot more hotels rather than beach shacks and boarding houses and things like that. But still a great place, fully recommend it.
Is it cheap? Is it like cost effective?
It's cost effective, yeah. It definitely is from anywhere you go. I mean, you can spend big money there. You can stay in some really amazing, luxurious 5-star plus type places, but it's beautiful because it's got the mountains and the tea plantations and the sort of the mountain land, and then the coast. Getting around it is a hair-raising experience, the bus drivers and the chaos and the cows on the road and people doing 100k an hour through villages. And yeah, you're going to die, you're going to die on a Sri Lankan road. But once you get to your luxurious place, it's all good.
Yeah, you just got to go through the travel component. Okay, so you came back. I might have to just fast track through for the sake of time, but you kind of like, and it's very interesting. I love the backstory. It's a pity we only have like an hour and a bit for these episodes, but so then you came back to New Zealand. And how did you get into Start Reside, and how did you meet your business partners?
So Nick, who I met back at the pre-trade Polytech course, Nick Hodgson, we were great mates at that pre-trade. We met there, and we sort of stayed in touch. This is pre-Facebook and all that type of thing, so I just call him up every now and again when we were back in New Zealand on holiday or whatever. And then he, by one of the later trips, let's say 2005, 2006 maybe, we came back to New Zealand for a mate's wedding, caught up with him at the pub on a night out, and he was married by then, and just catching up with him. He was a builder. He was sort of working for himself. New Zealand was pretty quiet at that time. They were thinking about coming to London. So, yeah, fine, come. I'll happily give you a job if you decide you want to come. Here's my phone number. And bang, Nick's over working for us in London. We had a good couple of years. He was there when we were building some awesome places as well, particular massive project. And then they left, came back, had a couple of kids. He started his own company called Nixon Builders. And I just sort of, by then we had Facebook and was watching what he was up to, and we still had that connection. And I thought, Nick's, again, probably a bit more like Jed, great character, but definitely not focused or enthused by business administration and all the boring crap that goes along in partnership with building nice houses for cool people. So, and that is really Jane and I's lane, and I'll say Jane and I. So we came back and we thought, when we got back to New Zealand, we'll have a look at Nick and Nessa's business and see what's going on at Nixon. And pretty quickly we thought we could give them a hand and do some consulting, because we weren't set on staying in New Zealand, especially Waihi Beach, but it was a good connection close to Tauranga to catch up with old friends and family and just to see if we were going to stay or, stay for 6 months and gap it. So we thought Noosa or Byron Bay or Wanaka or something like that, but we ended up just chucking the kids in school, pretty quickly got involved with Nixon, did that for about a year, and then, or maybe even less, and I said to Nick, well, we're going to sort of make a go of this, or what do you want to do? He said, yep, let's do it. He was quite keen on ditching the Nixon name, not for any reason other than, I don't really know why actually, but he just...
Start fresh or whatever?
Change it up, start fresh. So we came up with a company name called Reside, just sort of what always felt right to me, like residence, you reside in a home, we're building homes, so that name was pretty easy, didn't dwell on that for too long, and got going with Reside, which just sort of was Nixon, straight swap. We were already in the middle of some projects. All the clients were sort of really supportive and understanding. And at that time, a young apprentice called Heath was working for Nixon, now Reside, and a bit of a go-getter, lots of questions, lots of intensity. And I just said to Nick, maybe if we're ever going to sort of bring someone else in, someone youthful, someone driven, let's earmark Heath. And over the years, that progressed into Heath buying in an equal third share about maybe 3 or 4 years ago now, longer. And so, there's 3 of us now. Reside's sort of fully running at its capacity, and we've got an office in Waihi Beach where Jane and I mainly work, just taking on a bookkeeper to relieve Jane from some of her administration roles. And she started a wing of the business, which is interior design consultation. She's not qualified to do, but she's good at it. So we're just going to sort of develop that too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
A quick shout out to Forte supporting today's episode. They work across flooring, wall surfaces, exteriors, and more. But what sets them apart is how their timber performs over time. Forte is trusted by architects, designers, and builders, not just for their materials, but for the way they support projects from vision to completion. It's about enriching connections and creating something built to last. Learn more at forte.co.nz. So there's three of you guys.
Yeah.
Talk to me through that. Like, there's a famous saying, what's the saying? Two is a couple and three is a crowd or something like that. How does that work with three business partners, all equal shares? Who's in charge? How does that work?
Good point. So we just let that evolve naturally for a few years just to see how it all sort of worked itself out, which worked. Heath ended up building one home, which we finished just before last Christmas, about 4 years, one big house at the Mount. So he was sort of over there doing that. That was his, I guess, apprenticeship into Reside business ownership. And Nick and I just went and built everything else and tried to support Heath where we could, but he was fine driving himself mad building that house, so didn't need too much support. And then post that, over the last 12 months, we have gone into, let's say, a business mentorship with our accountant, a guy called Paul, and he sort of has offered it to us. We discussed it, and maybe we sort of, we've really leaned into that. So we have meetings, we've devised a new sort of structure for our business. So, and then we have monthly meetings and KPIs based on our roles, which we've devised and agreed. And so I would say that I'm the managing director. Heath is the operations manager, and Nick is our construction manager. Nick's very happy just building one house at a time. At the moment, he's lucky enough to be building his brother and wife's house, and it's an awesome project, and we're just, quite happy. He's really happy building that. Heath's sinking his teeth into project management software and construction management and working with the site foremans and across all the jobs. Helps Nick, but doesn't need to help him as much. And Heath's really into that. And then that allows me to, I guess my role isn't just managing director. I guess I'm more business development, meeting new people, taking up opportunities like this, which I would have had no time to do 3 or 4 years ago. I would have been running around chasing my tail, trying to do everyone's job.
Yeah.
I'm feeling very comfortable with my new role, with our mentorship, with the way everyone's sort of sticking to their lane. That's kind of our motto, and I feel like it's going really well. Yeah,
that's cool. I mean, what benefit did you guys get out of that? Mentorship role? Is it just like helping you guys, like a sounding board?
Sounding board, yeah.
Yeah.
Accountability is the and the devising a structure that we all had a part in designing and agreeing to it, and then having these meetings that we're accountable for. So I guess the worst part about owning your own business and being busy is just sort of focusing on being busy and not having a structure to lean on, or all agreeing to it. And that, sometimes without the structure, there's been a few nitty gritty conversations, or Marlon, get out of my face, you're overstepping your mark, or whatever. So now we can sort of call each other out, or hold ourselves to account, which it's we've been doing it 6 or so months. Took a hell of a lot of work, and it took a lot of no one ever disagreed to it, but there was some moments where it was like, geez, I hope this works, because we put a lot into it, and it's either going to go boom or it's going to work. So it's working.
Yeah. It's fun. It's so important to put that operational structure into the business, especially builders who, maybe there's a builder at the middle and the whole business revolves around them. You can never get away. You're sort of chained to the business. Yeah, it's a dictatorship. It's like, and so it's really important to put that operational structure in place. And then also the difference, which is something I went through with my business as well, separating like the fact that you're a shareholder in the business to like your role.
Yes.
And those are two separate things. And I think that's probably one thing that a lot of builders struggle with as well.
Well,
It all kind of meshes into the same thing.
yeah, it does. And being a builder isn't necessarily, no one focuses on being a business person. So that's something you have to learn, and you have to learn by failure, seems to be the most popular way, which is definitely something that the industry needs to change, because it's a great business to be in and there's a lot of successful people, but I mean, they've maybe got a different brain type, or they've got a different support network, or whatever. There's a lot of people out there who are great builders but terrible business people. So, yeah, there's some good advice, and you got to take it up. And there's, the master builders and certified builders and other professional builder and different things now that are a lot more available.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, and it's a great trade and great profession, but it can ruin you if you don't make any money doing 80 hours a week to fall out with a client at the end of the job and have there's way too many of those sort of stories which are popular but unsuccessful.
Yeah. So talk to me about Reside. So what does the structure look like? So obviously it's the three of you guys having your sort of management roles, different parts of the business. How many people have you guys got working in the team? Does Jane work there full time?
Yep.
Like, how does that work?
Jane's part-time, 45 hours a week. So yeah, Nick is a full-time construction manager, tool belt on half the time on his one job at the moment, which is a huge job. Heath has got his tool belt in his ute, but I don't think it comes out apart from maybe to fix something at home at the moment. He's driving around all the jobs all the week, as well as getting through the never-ending emails and logging into the project management software and checking on timelines and all that type of thing. And then I'm just meeting new clients, pricing work, making sure everyone's okay. I generally have client meetings with the guys or whatever. Jane's in the office most of the time. And then we've got about 15 staff, 3 apprentices at the moment, looking to take on another one soon. Really love training and qualifying apprentices. That is a huge, big love heart on the Reside format. Yeah, so what else we got? We've got a couple of young guys, a couple of older guys.
So what's the breakdown of like qualified versus like apprentices? So you got 15, 3 apprentices, are the rest all qualified? Do you have site managers? How do you work?
Site managers.
Yeah.
We tend to call them foremen.
Foremans, yeah.
We've got a foreman on each job, and then we've got 6 qualified builders, 3 foremen, a couple of other 3 apprentices, a couple of young guys that are looking to become apprentices.
Cool.
We're looking to take on a couple more guys soon. So.
And how many projects do you guys sort of work on at any given time?
It's never consistent, but at the moment we've got 3 big renovations on, and we've got probably 5 jobs in the pipeline, 3 of which are new builds, 2 of which are renovations. So they're all looking to start next year. We might sneak in a couple of little-ish jobs. We're always working for people who are doing, one job a year, a little job, maybe 2 or 3 months' work for someone. They're still big jobs, but yeah, some of our jobs can be 2 to 3 years. Some of them can be 12 months. Some of them can be sort of 6 to 9. So it just depends. So.
What's the sort of project value of a lot of these jobs? So like the big ones is like
2 to 5 million is a big job, and then 1 to 2 is good normal size job, and some smaller ones.
Yeah. Okay, that's good just to kind of know. And how do you guys get these jobs? Like, obviously you're the front end man, but like, do you get them through architects? You get them through homeowners, the clients themselves? And how do they come to you? Do you guys do marketing? Do you just do networking?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's what, again, with our mentorship, we've finally decided to start tracking where these leads and clients come from. Mainly I will credit Nick. He's a huge revenue of leads. He knows everyone. He's involved in sport, rugby, he just knows everyone, and he's been around forever. So most of our work, I would say, comes from Nick. Heath and I bring in a few little bits. I mean, maybe more so me now in Waihi Beach. We're really and great. We don't need a lot of work. We don't need a lot of clients. We sort of mainly get every job that comes our way. We don't tender for work. We've tendered a few jobs, but it's not really our thing. So word of mouth, feel like we're very early engagement. They'll come to us. We'll offer an architect. We have a preferred architect we work with just because it's a great working relationship, but obviously we're not just sticking to one, and sometimes we do have clients come to us with consents and plans from an architect that
Right.
we just sort of estimate that work, work under the master builders, we're a member there, so all of our work comes through that, so all of our contracts. So we've just started a good marketing push with a
Cool.
local strategic marketing company based in Waihee Beach, so they're really good and they're really pushing the socials, and we're having to do live, or not live, but being filmed on site and talking through jobs, and everyone's running for cover when that happens, but we've got to sort of become comfortable with it. So haven't really picked up too much work through the socials or the website or whatever, so it's mainly word of mouth.
Yeah. And how do you guys structure that? So when they come to you, do you get them to sign like an early contractor involvement agreement or preliminary agreement, or is there
not
formality
generally.
to it, or do you just sort of like?
It does become formal, but I guess it would just be, let's come to site, meet you. I can bring the architect if you need one, and some pretty low-level initial chats. A rough budget. This is what I'm thinking, but we really need some drawings we can give them some square meter numbers or some ideas of cost depending on the level of finish they're looking to achieve as well. Because you can build a house for $4,000 a square meter, but then put $4,000 a square meter of high-end finishes in it. So it's just feeling them out and seeing where they're at. And
do you guys then price up the job at your cost, or do you charge for the price up, or how does that work?
In the past, I've charged for it, but I don't anymore. Don't currently, because I feel like we're in that place where if we're giving costs and we've introduced our architect and we sort of feel like we're going to get the job, we'll look to put a contract in their hand. Once we've estimated the job, we've got our initial concept down on paper with the architect, and we're looking to put it in for consent and, sign the contract then.
Okay. And in terms of your like leadership style, like just thinking of your team, you've got like a bunch of people working for you. What's your approach to keeping the team motivated, keeping the culture, keeping a good team culture? Are you guys good at that? Are you working on that? And what's your sort of like?
Oh, we're always working on it, and we are pretty good at it, I'd say. It's sort of, we just go and get drunk every 3 months, or do we, have more team building type events? We do a mixture of things. Some of them are just, beers. Next week we're going to the big club at the Mount, playing pool and darts, and it's winter. There's not too much you can do. We've done 10-pin bowling and claybird shooting and different things. We work in a wide spread out area, so it's quite hard to get the team together all the time, all in one place. So bit of a mix really. The guys will go for beers locally to the job, or we've got shipping containers that are our site office storage areas on our jobs that have got a fridge in it and might have a box of beers. And we've started on renovations, selling stuff on marketplace that the clients don't want, that are worth $1 or $2 to somebody and saves going into landfill, and that's filling up the fridge. So that's kind of a good vibe at the end of the week, drinking those beers.
Yeah, that's a good way of doing it. And who organises the social, like the temp and bowling? Do you organise it, or do team members? Or?
I'll do it, or Nick or Heath will do it. Yeah, it's just that'll come up at the moment. That comes up in our meetings. Who's going to organise the next one, and what are we going to do? And
cool.
Yeah, so that's part of our agenda.
Yeah,
when we meet.
Love it. What makes obviously you want Reside to be different and unique, and you probably wanted to do things a bit better than some other builders that were in the market. Like, what sort of sets you guys apart? Like, what do you think makes Reside kind of special and unique?
Hard question, I guess, for me to answer, because some builders out there just promote themselves at being the best or better than everyone or whatever. That doesn't sit so comfortably with us, I would say, speaking on behalf of Reside. So I'm just happy being recognised as a good builder and having a good network. I like the fact that most of our work comes from recommendations, and that most of our work, when we finish the project, we can call in and have a beer with what were clients are now friends and things like that. So yeah, I wouldn't like to say that I'm out there setting myself out to be better or the best, but I'm happy to be happy with how we work and proud of our work. And if that means we're better, then great. I'll take it.
It's always interesting because I think it's sometimes good to kind of figure out like what are those like elements that like you're like uniquely good at and like
uniquely good at,
and like really like leaning into that as well.
Okay,
When you speak to the client, it's kind of like, there's like all these little like what, even if you ask it in a way of like what particular little element of your business could, if I gave you like 3 or 4 years or 5 years or 10 years, what could you be the best in New Zealand at, even if it's just like a one little small little element?
Wow. I guess finishing the whole project. So I like to leave that house with nothing left to do, and then it's the client's home. So yeah, if they let us run all the way, then that's the perfect job. So yeah, we're just every little detail I just get involved in, and Nick and Heath are the same. So yeah, the complete package, everything, and we'll go back and we schedule maintenance, and we're back there with the house cleaner and roof wash and servicing the aluminium joinery, just making sure that house is going to last as long as possible in the best state that it's in. So yeah, not one of those builders that finishes a job and I never want to see that house again, or we're not. Just happy to go back.
Oh, that's good. That's a good way. It's a good one.
Yeah,
it's a good answer. Dick, what sort of numbers do you guys care about, or do you look at? Obviously you've got your accountant, that's now your business coach, and
he's focused on numbers.
Yeah, he's focused on numbers.
So is Heath. Heath's
yeah. So what do you guys look at that's really important to you to make sure that you guys are on track and not?
Well, obviously with 3 of us as directors, and we need to be paid and feed our families. Heath's family's dogs. He hasn't got kids yet, although you wouldn't know. I guess we run mainly a charge-up model. So I guess just making sure we get paid and that we pay everyone. And then I guess what's left, I don't really have a target number, but I know I guess we need to turn over, 5 million a year at least.
Yeah.
Five plus to break even. And that gets everyone paid and that's everyone happy. And anything else on top might be a holiday or a bit of work at home, maybe,
Yeah, that's good. So you're going to know your overheads, your break even point. And
and part of that mentorship is actually leaning a bit more into that and maybe targeting bigger work rather than maybe the smaller stuff. But, that's another thing, as I see some of those smaller jobs lead into bigger jobs and more recommendations and more sort of just more clients. So it's a hard balance between turnover and profit, and heaps of profit is what some people chase. But sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. It just depends on the ebb and flow, and especially after the last 3 or 4 years, you're just happy to have your shirt on your back, and there's a lot of unfortunate situations for builders out there that have gone bust due to the COVID and post-COVID, and it's been a bit hard.
Yeah, you mentioned before, learning through mistakes, sometimes the most popular way of learning, not ideal, but it's how we kind of learn sometimes, as business owners. Looking back, whether it's here or in the UK or whatever, what if you have to think about what's like the biggest learnings you had through a mistake? Like, what's like the biggest kind of mistake that you can think of that taught you the most?
Mine's probably in London. Probably 3 or 4 years into it. It was at the time, little business called Jam Builders, and we exploded. We got a lot of work in. And without really stopping and thinking about it or putting a structure in place, we just tried to do it all at the same time, not through greed, but probably through vanity maybe. And it just became an uncontrolled monster. We were just throwing buckets of water at fires. That's what it felt like. It wasn't too bad, and we got all the work done, and all the clients were happy, and we got paid. But maybe we were suited for 10 guys and 3 jobs, and we were at 35 guys and 8 jobs, and it was just absolute chaos. And we had a bit of a look at ourselves after 6 months of that and said, not worth it, not worth the extra money, because all that extra money was just going at Band-Aids to fix bleeding wounds everywhere, and there wasn't that much more left in the tin at the end of it. So yeah, running before you can walk, and it's something that I'm probably really focused on with Reside. Not taking too much money out of the company when it's there, saving it for a rainy day, making sure that if there's a dip, like there is definitely in the Bay of Plenty at the moment, or has been, you've got enough to carry you through. Councils delaying jobs, clients being a bit 50-50 with the interest rates and things like that. It hasn't been a massively fun time at the moment, but we've managed to persevere through it, and we're up and busy again.
Yeah.
And it might have been a bit tighter had we taken too much money out and bought a new boat or whatever, with that money. So yeah, I learned from that.
Yeah. Have you ever lost like a bunch of money on a job?
No, a few thousand here and there, and taking something on the chin for probably not paying the right attention. It was more London.
Yeah.
Thinking it was finished and thinking they were happy, and they weren't. And when you send the final bill in and you haven't given them the care and attention they need, then they're gonna let you know, and that generally is a financial thing. And so yeah, never a huge bunch of money, no.
How have you evolved over the years? Because you get a bit older and wiser, right, in terms of how you deal with clients. And when you start, you let them sort of just grab your arm off, and like you just sort of, as long as they're happy, you sort of just go, you just sort of do it. But like, what have you learned over the years in terms of setting boundaries and how you deal with clients and set expectations?
Well, I'm just I've just learned to be very honest from the start. I guess when I was young, I really wanted them to give me the job, so I would conjure up these ideas of what I thought they wanted me to say, or whatever, just immaturity, business immaturity, or just general experience immaturity. And now I'm just, this is how we do it. I know there's heaps of other builders out there that you could choose. This is how we do it, and if you like the sound of that, then let's do it. And I think communication's massive. We sort of have a WhatsApp group with our clients on it, and they're not around, or they don't have an opportunity to come and see their project for 3 or 4 weeks or a couple of months. I'll give them a weekly report. I tend to do that. Go around there, take a few photos on the weekend, and send a message with an update, and just keep them informed, really. So not just with costs and what's happening, but here's some photos, and here's what the guys have been up to. And the site's clean and tidy. We've had no accidents, and
Yeah.
we're not running a shambles out here, just to let you know.
Yeah, keep them informed and
Keeping them informed.
And
Information.
yeah. So, and if a client calls you at like 8 o'clock on a Friday night, do you answer the phone?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any boundaries where my phone's off at 5. And I mean, it is family time and things like that. But yeah, generally I will answer my phone. But to be honest, if you did everything right in the Monday to Friday 9 to 5 scene, then you shouldn't be taking too many bad phone calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've worked in many different areas, like obviously the UK, and you've worked in New Zealand, in different areas of New Zealand. You've through different ups and downs.
Yep.
As a business owner, has there ever been times where you wanted to throw in the towel and give up?
Yep, definitely. Maybe it's all I've ever done. I look around and see some of my friends and, social media and stuff. People, July in New Zealand, everyone back in Europe's in Ibiza in the south of France having a good time, and it's hot and sunny. So it'd be mainly, sort of never that I've made bad choices and I hate my job and I hate my industry. It's just more, could I become Insta famous and make millions of dollars and not have to work? Sure, that's sort of appealing for everyone, isn't it? But no, I love what I do, and I'll happily do it till I retire.
Yeah, and have you ever dealt with burnout? A lot of people, they work till the wheels come off, and that is burnout, hit a wall. Have you?
I've definitely had it. Yeah, I've had it 2 or 3 times. Just work my ass to the ground and not giving myself any time. But having had kids, realizing that, I'm responsible for them and Jane and family and the cliches. I definitely, I see that now, and I wish I saw it when I was younger because it's not just necessarily just the kids. It could have been Jane and I or our friends, or taking time to go on holiday and not work my ass to the ground. But that's what I was like at the time, and I'd probably still be like that if I didn't have the kids. But yeah, I like going home, knock off early, sometimes take the kids out to golf or down the beach or whatever, and have some time out and turn my phone off. It's the phone that really gives me the burnout. Constant emails, communications, WhatsApp groups. There's so much information flying around all the time, and you got to
Yeah.
answer it at the moment. So yeah, just trying to also deflect. We've started something at work where we go today, the things we're going to do today, this week, or next week, so we can put things on different lists. So we're just not one big list of reactionary fires that we feel like we've got to put out. So that's also helped me.
Yeah.
Calmer.
Yeah, because like I'm about, how old are you now?
47.
Yeah, you're 47. I'm 39. I feel like I'm only starting to realize now that I work on a lot on adrenaline.
Yeah.
Like you say,
Adrenaline and
reactive caffeine, adrenaline.
Yeah.
You just go. What advice do you have for me in terms of moving away from your fuel being adrenaline and what needs to be done now to having a more sustained way of operating?
I don't know. Listen to some of the advice that's out there. Take some time out. Really, when you time out, switch off. Play a lot of golf. That takes a long time. I've been the type of golfer who will be on his phone halfway through the round, throwing my clubs, having a bad time, looking at people, and they're saying to me, just get off your phone. So, yeah, turn your phone off, have a few hours a day. We're sort of getting into saunas a bit, ice baths, bit of the cliche timeout stuff, but it works. It really does.
It snaps you out.
It snaps you out.
I find even a cold shower or something just sort of snaps. It just completely snaps you out
Yep.
of the whatever funk you're in.
Yeah. And that is what 20, 30 younger people than me are really seemingly good at right now. I mean, it's like almost like I'm a boomer looking at these young guys going, wow, they seem to have got that worked out, but sure they've got their own chaos going on.
Yeah. How do you deal with, what is your relationship with stress? Do you think stress is a good thing that you just need to learn to manage?
It's a beast that I've learnt to manage, yeah. I don't mind being stressed. I mean, I know a few other guys who are big hitters and, their stress would kill me. And they just have a constant low heart rate, no stress for them. So stress for me is I fluctuate with stress and I overreact when I'm stressed. That's maybe the Greek blood. Sometimes I can control it if I've got the right frame of mind. Fitness for me, or not fitness, but training. Like we're going to the spin and HIIT classes early in the morning. I feel like if I've got rid of that energy early, I've got a good sleep and maybe, less socialising and beers and wine, less of that and more blood pumping is really helps me. Better for my state of mind.
Yeah. What are the red flags that pop up? You mentioned now that, you overreact a little bit or whatever, but what are some of the red flags that pop up that makes you realize like, hey, I'm burning,
I guess
burning
when
too
I'm
hot?
projecting my stress on other people and I'm looking around and they're looking at me going, calm down. In the past, if someone told me to calm down at that moment, I'd tell them where to go and scream and shout and, be the dickhead in the room. So now I try and identify it early. But that's all part of that, staying in the lane and, try not to ruin everyone else's day.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's good to kind of know those things. And I guess some of those things you just figure out when you get a bit
Yeah, you
older,
figure
right?
it out.
And turning the phone off, I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah, that's massive.
And how do you manage that with like work life and family life now? Like you got a
I just shout at my
teenage
kids
son.
now.
Tell the kids
Yeah,
get
yeah.
lost. You got a teenager, right? And then a few like
16-year-old
tweens or something?
boy, 13-year-old girl, and a soon to be 11-year-old girl. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you navigate? Do they still like you? At what age do they?
Yeah, I think they all still like me.
Yeah, I don't
Most
know
of
which
the
age
time,
that's.
especially if they want something.
Yeah.
They love me.
How do you navigate that sort of business? It's business, stressful. You got to run things.
Oh,
you got
my
your
kids have
phone.
been around it all the time. They know if the phone rings and I've got to take the call, I'll let them know.
Yeah.
I'll take that call. But I mean, it's not, we're not that big time. It's just they accept it, and they also get the benefits from a lot of the good stuff. And last week I took my son to his school golf day in Thames and had the day off and hung out with his mates and took them to the bakery on the way home, and had a good time. So it's good to pay them back for some of that stuff. And they, our 16-year-old son will work for us in the school holidays, and we get the girls into the office to give us a hand to do some fun stuff. So yeah, they're part of our business.
Yeah.
So they don't mind it.
So you got to sort of like that real honest. There's almost like an honesty to them, right? Like, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
I got to take the call.
We're very honest.
Tomorrow we're gonna take the day off, but this is what it is. This is the business.
Yeah.
And you take them they're part of the journey.
Yeah, and if we've got to if we're having the day off and something needs to be done, Dan and I might be in the office till 7 o'clock the night before. But they're old enough to look after themselves now, and they're perfectly fine cooking and looking after the pets that we've got that we're accumulating. So no, it's a good balance. I'd say the kids are fine.
Yeah.
They might go to therapy later on in life and say that it's not fine, but that's on them.
Well, we're going to stuff up as parents somehow, some way. Now that you're here, this part of your life, it might change in the future, or when you're 70, your answer may change. But
probably not make it to 70.
Looking at business, looking at family, looking at children, looking at money, looking at holidays, like, what is success to you now?
Oh, success to me now. In England, it was money. The money brought us happiness because we could spend it, and you can spend it really easily over there. And, we had a good life, a different life, but a great life. Here, success, like we've got enough work, we could do more, we could expand, we could do things. A balance for me. I can get a game of golf in during the week, work hard, earn enough money to pay all the bills and still have some to spend on the kids and whatever in the weekend, and have a couple of holidays. That's good. That's going forward. The last couple of years have been probably a little less fun, but I feel like we're through that. But everyone's been through it. You'd struggle to find someone who say that the last couple of years hasn't really affected their business or their cash flow or their whatever in the construction industry, I guess I'm saying. So, I'm looking forward to the next few years, and success for us is that, you just go to work, have more fun than anger, and do good work, and get to spend some good quality time. We've got some good holidays booked. We feel like we're moving into that next phase of our lives. Our kids are older, not necessarily so focused on childcare and prams and that stuff. Our son's just got his license. So, we're sort of maybe back more as a couple. Work's just work. And, give it a nudge for another 10 years.
Love it. Marlon, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. I feel like we could definitely talk for another 2 hours. Easy. You're one of those guys. But I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you being so candid and honest. And I think a lot of guys would get a lot out of this. So I appreciate it.
Good. Thank you very much.
That's it for today's episode. And thanks again to Forte for making this week's episode possible. If you're after timber surfaces that don't just look beautiful but are built to endure, Forte is leading the way with a focus on sustainability and craftsmanship and unparalleled performance. They're helping bring ambitious projects to life across interiors and exteriors.